Illinois State had 12 offensive rebounds, 14 second chance points, and then control Illinois State's transition. They are at their best when they are getting the ball and running down the floor and taking advantage of mismatches on transition.
Ron Ward Chevrolet brings you your keys to the game, and we are working in the final home game for SIU. Anthony DeVonzo on his senior night gets the start for the Salukis in the post. He's got the defense on Ryan Schmidt. Josiah Strong with the pull-up pop and the rebound down to Marcus Damask for SIU. So the Salukis trying to close their home schedule with the win. It would be their 4th in a row.
Strong started huge in the game at Redbird Arena and ended up with 18 points. Misses the first shot tonight.
And Loyola made him work really hard to get his 3-point tries into the air in the last game for the Redbirds. That was a loss on Monday night for Illinois State. And SIU out of sorts here with 4 to shoot. Coupette has it stripped, and Kendall Lewis got his hand on it to get the Redbirds the ball back.
Yeah, missed opportunity for the Salukis. Had plenty of time to get a decent shot and just weren't sure what to do with the basketball.
Antonio Reeves, the top scorer in the Missouri Valley at 20 points per game, working on Coupette. And that little hook is short, and the rebound for DeVonzo.
Coupette's a tough matchup for Reeves with his length.
SIU threw so many different guys at Reeves. In that game you were talking about where Reeves only got 9 shots in the air, 8 points was a season low for him.
Evansville, the only other team in the league that has held him under 10 in a game, and they held him to 9.
Here's DeVonzo, and the senior's going to the free throw line. So gets the start, gets his first action since that first Illinois State game back on February 5th, now shooting.
Nice bounce pass from Banks to DeVonzo for that reverse layup. Just couldn't get it to fall. Little backdoor cut. He'll go to the line, fouled by Schmidt.
And DeVonzo rocking the fresh cut on his senior night, and he's got the first points in his final Banterra Center game. And DeVonzo spent a couple of years at Division II at Lewis University, of course, before transferring in last year as a graduate transfer, and got the extra year. Gets the senior year a year later because of the COVID year. And a good start for DeVonzo.
And a good matchup with he and Schmidt. Both almost identical in size. Neither one is going to out-athletic the other one on the floor.
Schmidt starting the last 2 games. It was Liam McChesney before for Illinois State. A little different look for them. Of course, Cy Chapman was injured in late January. Their second leading scorer and rebounder out for the season.
And they've truly not been the same team since he went out. He's a tough replacement. When you lose that kind of offensive production, it takes obviously next guy to step up, but 2 or 3 guys have had to step up.
They lost Cy Chapman. They lost a ton of games after that. Dan Mueller, of course, was let go on Super Bowl Sunday. So Brian Jones now the coach. So SIU getting it back. They did rule that that shot from Strong did not count. So it's still 2-zip SIU. The opening 2 points from DeVonzo at the free throw line. And Dalton Banks turning the corner.
Illinois State, since Mueller's been gone, has been a good and maybe a better defensive team than they were prior to that. Their struggle has been putting points on the board.
Well, Ben Coupette doing what he did in his final season at Little Rock, closing the season strong.
He's not having any trouble getting points on the board, especially from long distance.
He's got a big-time flamethrower working right now, putting SIU up 5-0. And first points of the night on a Lewis dunk for Illinois State.
Just got away from the Saluki defense underneath, and a nice find by Schmidt.
Dalton Banks discarded his man, drew every single Redbird pretty much, and then gets to Mask an open 3. The crowd was there under the basket.
Yes,
Dalton Banks got down there.
We have a late arriving crowd as well. They held the senior recognition about 20 minutes to 7 o'clock, and there were less than half of the people in the building now here for that, and that's too bad that happens.
Yeah, the students doubled.
Easily.
The regular crowd, the community doubled. A little bit of an icy night in Carbondale. That could be part of it. Kendall Lewis has all 4 for Illinois State. DeVonzo going to work on Schmidt here. And underneath it's short. gets his own, and through two, Davanzo has 4 in the opening minutes.
I want to play, he says. Keep me in, coach.
Yeah, embracing the senior night with the late arriving crowd. Now on the take, it's Howard Fleming, the point guard, to Lewis. And Lewis, a hot start. He's got all 7 now for Illinois State.
He's a good scorer. He's not known for just going off on points, but he's capable. Southern's got to keep an eye on him.
He's the guy that fills it up in a lot of ways. Points, steals,
yes,
blocks, assists. One of the more versatile players in the league. Dalton Banks left open, and that clanks long, and there's Fleming over the top.
Wow, how was that not a foul over the back?
Davanzo 6'8", Fleming is 6'5", and went over the top of the tall player. And Strong working off a ball screen, lobs it up for Schmidt, and Schmidt goes to the other side. Well, Schmidt's had some good moments recently for Illinois State. His best game is against SIU, had 10 of the game in normal.
Played very well offensively and defensively underneath.
Here's Jones over the top in there. Schmidt pulling down the miss. So the Redbirds looking to push it like you were talking about. Transition defense will be big tonight for SIU. Strong does get a quick shot off. And the rebound tapped away
and
from
Schmidt was holding Davanzo's jersey as he was going for the rebound.
Yeah, you're ready to ref tonight. I like it. Fired up.
I mean, those are right in front of us.
Here's Jones getting stripped. There you go. I saw you ready to make the call. You were ready to.
Just twice this week, on Tuesday and Wednesday, full practices, which they hadn't done in 6 weeks. So he says it's much more enjoyable now that they actually get to be on the floor working on things and not just game prep.
Well, you mentioned the 3-game winning streak did have one in early December, but this one feels a little bit different because it comes in the league.
Yes.
4 to shoot, and Jones got tripped or just slipped. Big screech. Sure. Yeah, I think he slipped.
Mullins can't understand it. Gonna get another look at it. I think he just got in between him and slipped.
Yeah. All right, so good no call. And then a hand check the other way on Lance Jones. So that won't make him happy. He gets planted, whether it's by himself or he was fouled, and then he gets a foul down the other way.
Yeah, and Trent Brown's coming in for him right away, and I think that's more of a emotional type thing, that they don't want Lance to pick up a silly foul now and get 2 before he even breaks a sweat here in the game.
I remember early in his freshman year, going back a couple years, they never let him run after he got an early one.
Right.
But the trust is built as he's gotten later into his career. Sissoko's into the game for Illinois State, and he just dribbles it right out of bounds.
Just never could get it back once he lost the dribble initially. And I think another reason that Trent Brown's in the game is they like to run different people at Antonio Reeves. Lance has had him for the last 6+ minutes. Now it's Trent's turn. Try to keep fresh legs on him at all time.
Let's see if this is a bigger minute game for Trent Brown. The lineup has gotten a little bit smaller, hasn't played much lately. And that knocked out by Strong, out of bounds. SIU keeps.
I'd like for JD on that to catch the ball, keep it up, and just go up and try to score, or do it all in one motion instead of bringing it down and making himself the same size as everybody else.
Well, Mula's in that same vein of what we were just talking about with Brown. The small lineup with D'Amico getting a lot of minutes the past couple of games. Mula started but hasn't played much either.
You're right.
Here's Mula underneath, catches it off his own deflection, and then can't put it home. McChesney right there with the defense.
I think McChesney got a piece of that going up as well.
McChesney's been important for the Redbirds since Cy Chapman went down. He's started some games. Started 8 in a row after Chapman went down. Him and Schmidt have been in and out. Well, nothing doing for Reeves yet. Here's Sissoko from the free throw line and ripped down by Marcus Damask.
Great team defense by Southern. Good job on switches.
Here comes Mula out to set the screen. Damask handling the ball, and he got that length in his face, and Sissoko and McChesney altered it. So here comes Freeman in a rush. Illinois State looking to run. SIU's cut him off a couple of times. And McChesney's three down to Brown.
And that's a good rebound. It was a long rebound, and Trent saw it coming off long and went and got it. Otherwise, Illinois State would have had another crack at it.
Well, shooting numbers even to start. Score line even to start. And here's Brown. Looking to heat it up from three, and that rattles down for him.
He doesn't care how they go in. It's a line drive in the scorebook, as they say.
Oh, we've gotten little glimpses of what you'd say the old Trent Brown is.
Yes. Getting maybe healthier as the season goes on.
J.D. Mueller rips down the miss from Antonio Reeves.
And again, a tough shot by Reeves over the outstretched arm of Coupette.
Oh, Damask hanging, and Mueller out of nowhere. When he dunks, it is loud.
And he saw that almost from half court, that three guys were going with Marcus, and there was nobody following down the lane. So if it was a miss, he had an easy dunk.
Oh, man, he does not take it easy on the rims when he decides to flush it.
It's impressive.
J.D. Mueller with the tip back slam to put SIU up 6. Now 4 to shoot. Reeves looking to break free on for Plankin. And SIU got 2 on him, and it's a shot clock violation. So J.D. Mueller with the early play of the night, bringing us to that last break. Under 12 first half, SIU by 6. Salukis trying to win their 4th in a row. Redbirds trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. And Mueller staying in out of the break, working in on Schmidt, and there's that left. So he goes hard with the Thunder, and then he feathers one down.
That was one of the prettiest shots he shot all year long. That little left-handed flare that just lipped right over the top. Illinois State's on over a 4-minute stretch without scoring.
Lewis had the big-time start. His miss is rebounded by Schmidt. And a second chance now for Fleming of the offense. We got 2 point guards out there for Illinois State, and it leads to that. Freeman setting up Schmidt for the slam.
Again, draws the double team, and a really nice bounce pass that Schmidt can just grab and 2-hand dunk over the top.
So Mueller and Schmidt having their early battles with SIU up 6. Here's Trent Brown looking for his second 3 of the night, and Strong rips it out of D'Amico's hands.
Troy could have grabbed that instead of trying to tip it. Went against the Salukis, and Illinois State now with an opportunity.
You talked about this Illinois State offense. The numbers overall in the season are good. 75 points a game, second in the league, but coming off a game where they just scored 50 against Loyola. There's Lewis. Man, he's feeling nice to begin.
He's got 9 of their 13.
He's had a solid last couple of games here for Illinois State. Had a 15-point, 14-rebound double-double against Northern Iowa. Here's Verplanken. The line drive goes through. Well, you figure that'll be a big key for SIU. How they do in St. Louis. Can they get Verplanken getting his 3-point shot back again? And after his 3, they get a stop.
And a nice defensive play by Mula, because Schmidt thought he had another dunk.
And Damask right to the basket with the left. Well, Freeman had a big on him. He had J.D. Mueller coming out and had to give it up. Now SIU gets reorganized, and Freeman still gets a shot up, but it's up and out of bounds.
12-4 run SIU is on. Line change for the Salukis.
Brian Bones was talking before this game about how it's been a weird year in the Valley. Personnel has changed all over the place, and SIU's had to adapt because of that. And these have been different sub-patterns compared to the last 2 games for sure.
Oh, without question, and Southern's played small so much lately that the fact that they've had a big guy in the entire game so far is unusual.
They've done that against teams like Valpo that have a true 5. Here's Brown, corner 3. Maybe this is the big explosive night for Trent Brown. Knocking down 3-point shots. Illinois State right back on the attack with Lewis. And he's got foul shots.
And sometimes they're better off a made basket in transition than they are on a miss. They beat Southern down the floor that time. They did it twice in the game at Bloomington Normal. That's how good they are on transition. And you mentioned Trent Brown, that breakout game, and the Saluki fans and Trent don't care when it comes. Every shot he shoots looks like it's going right down the middle of the basket.
He's already matched the season high with 2 threes in the first half.
Yeah.
Well, like we were talking about, seen glimpses of it. The Drake game about a month ago, knocked down a couple of threes, and that was 2 or 3 weeks after he had come back from injury and had played for the first time. And he thought maybe that was the moment, but like you said, getting healthier and healthier as the year goes on.
Yep. Lewis now with 10. His season high is 22 against Buffalo early in the year.
He's doing just about all the scoring right now. Reeves hasn't scored yet for Illinois State, and Filowich gets raked. So Strong coming in there with the hand off the ball, and it leads the 2 the other way with Fleming.
Officials letting a lot of contact go in this one. That easily could have been an and one.
Well, you were getting a little grumpy about it earlier in the game.
Well, every game is called differently by the.
We talked about it last time
with Seymour. Yeah,
showed that graphic with Seymour Bryson, how that helped open up the door for Walt Frazier.
Walt Frazier, absolutely.
So 10-point game with under 8 to go in the first half. SIU trying to win 4 in a row. Be the first time that they've done that since they opened last season with a 7-0 start. Here's Jai in deep, and that's too easy on Trent Brown down there, stuffing it down.
Yeah, he just kept backing Trent down, backing him down, but that's the issue when you switch everything and you get a big on a little, and that's a really big on a little.
That is a really 6'9" on a really 6'2".
Yeah.
So Banks and Jones in there together. That's the look SIU started out with against Illinois State. Gave it a little bit of a different look. And it's worked out on this good run of play. Coupette has it swatted out, 3 to shoot.
Yep, Ben passed up a 3 that I think normally he would take, thinking he could get a better shot. And now they're going to try to get something going with just 3 ticks on the clock.
Looking at Coupette, center of the lane, and working on Fleming. 2 long players going at it, and Coupette got the foul.
Yeah, got bailed out on the foul. Going to call it on Howard Fleming, Jr. 6'5" sophomore out of Louisville. That's a good matchup for both of them, I think. 2 really athletic guys going at it, and Ben went way up to get it and did all he could to get it up in the air and drew the contact, much the same as they did on the other end with a layup, and one's called, one's not. Coupette gets to shoot 2.
Fleming, somebody that Illinois State really likes because he can handle the ball. He's 6'5". He can guard 1 through 4, though. Helps them when they decide to switch, or he can guard a wing player just straight up.
Yeah, when Illinois State goes small, they're not very small. As I asked Brian, I said, when you guys went small against Illinois State, you were still much the smaller team. He goes, yeah, we actually were, but we played better in those instances when we needed to do so. But yeah, Illinois State is a big small team.
Yeah, they can go 6'8", 6'9", and 6'10" at the same time. They can go 3 on the front line. Do go big here with Jai and McChesney on the floor at the same time.
And McChesney can shoot from outside. Oh man.
Wet paint.
Yeah.
Slipping and sliding in there, Josiah Strong.
They caught that one.
You good tonight?
I'm a little bit pumped for this game.
The refs did come shake our hands before.
I know they did. It was nice of them.
Usually.
That's a courtesy handshake, though.
Usually you're jumping them if they don't come shake our hands.
That was a courtesy shake.
I think we got 2 of the 3. Here's Ben Coupette ducking his way in. And he gets doubled by that length we were just talking about, and a jump ball. Jai ties him up.
Yeah, fortunately Southern keeps the ball, but Ben stopped at the worst possible place you could stop on the baseline with nothing to your right and nothing but 2 giants to try to go through, and nobody came to get the ball.
So 8 to shoot here for Lance Jones, working on Lewis. Skates pass, leaves for Filowich, and it slipped out of his hands, but he got fouled.
If I would have told you that 14 and a half minutes into the game that neither Jones or Reeves would have a basket, would you be surprised?
Well, would I have taken the bet? No. No.
Nice layoff there, and all they could do was foul him or he was going to dunk it.
Yeah, that would have been surprising because you figured that Antonio Reeves, after scoring just 8 against SIU last time, would be determined tonight.
Yeah, he's only taken 2 shots.
Yep. And so Filowich gets the second to roll down as well. 12-point SIU lead. Well, this is similar to that first game against Illinois State for SIU. They got ahead early. They were able to sustain it and won that game in Normal back in early February. Brian Mullins is very pleased with how his team played on the road. See if they can sustain it again tonight. Well, there's Reeves getting going for the first time.
Yep, got to mask on him and took him to the hoop.
Verplanken 3, bags another one.
Southern doing a much better job of transition offense on their own. Up the lead to 13 now.
6 of 8 from 3 to begin it.
They are on fire, but not falling in love with it. Still, all of it is in relation to the offense.
Oh, you're not safe when Lance Jones is around. The leader in steals in the Missouri Valley, setting up Ben Coupette.
Up and down the floor, Southern playing very well on the transition offense and also getting back and playing defense.
The transition defense, if you asked Brian Mullins, key to the game. Every game it would be transition defense.
Sure.
We've seen him do that sweeping motion with his hand a lot more once they get the ball back.
Yes.
It means push it, push it, push it. And Saluki fans wanted to travel. Reeves muscling his way to the rim, and the pull-up jumper goes down.
And that was pure strength with Antonio Reeves. Once he got into the lane, he may have even got grabbed on the arm a little bit, was still able to bring it up and score the basket. Oh, what a backdoor.
And Schmidt recovers, though.
Yes.
And Banks going at him, using the speed. Oh, he's circling around the paint right now. Banks going back at Schmidt. Finally got a shot up.
Yeah.
Schmidt just standing there.
That was a please don't block me shot. I'm going to get it over you, but not sure where it's going. Illinois State now is attacking the middle where they hadn't been in a long time since the game first started.
Kendall Lewis shot hungry tonight. And didn't hit that one, but he's had a good start. Ooh, Damask on the step back. Well, Schmidt's getting out there too, putting a high hand. Deflecting some shots down low and getting out on Damask.
SIU shot very well from 3 in the first ball game, so Illinois State has to do a better job of checking 3. Southern's had good looks from 3 in this one. First half with 3 minutes to go.
All right.
And Drake leads at Valpo by only 3 points, 58-55 with about 3 minutes to go.
That's deflected out. Not really surprised by much that you were looking at there on the scoreboard out of town.
No, the scores are where I thought they would be. Some of them are closer than I thought they would be.
Not 34-7 though.
No, no.
SIU with Marcus Damask, 7 to shoot. Jones from way out there. SIU cannot miss from 3 right now.
Reminiscent of Bloomington Normal when he hit the first 2 from just about that same spot in Redbird Arena.
Well, tonight just 3 points, but man,
pretty dramatic 3.
Yeah, pretty dramatic for sure. Could have been 4.
Boy, Reeves just doesn't have an inch to move.
Well, all sorts of pressure on Fleming, but he got it up and over 2 and back on the board for Illinois State.
Fleming's season high is 11 against Bradley. He's, again, not a guy who's going to go off for a ton of points, but very consistent.
Banks playing one-on-one and waited and patiently scored.
For a second, I thought he was playing one-on-one against each other because they weren't going for any of his fakes. And then all of a sudden, he turns around and puts it in.
Yeah, the finesse didn't work. Used the strength, used the pivot. So 240 points for SIU. Remember, did this last time at home against Bradley as Freeman misses the reverse. SIU went to the locker room against Bradley with 41 points. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, yeah, he ace in the half for Lance Jones.
I asked Brian about those long threes, and he gets that little half smile, and he goes, you know, he hits them, and then other times he doesn't, but he seems to be hitting more than he's not.
Really had to talk his way through that.
Yeah, to be very, you know, because I asked, you know, when he lets it go from 27 feet, what are you thinking? I said, I'm thinking it's a horrible shot till it goes in. Then I think it's a wonderful shot.
Oh, I loved how deliberate you were in delivering that back, because that's exactly how it was delivered to you.
Yes, absolutely. But he says that Lance sometimes just feels something while he's in a game, and like, I can't miss. And so there's no spot on the floor that isn't available in his mind to get a shot off. Whether it's 5 seconds into the shot clock or 25 seconds into the shot clock. I mean, that shot that he took there was, well, not even close to halfway through the shot clock.
Gosh. And
I don't think he's going to shoot from there. But yeah.
all right, so final minute. And here's Verplanken from three, and he got another one. That's how you can beat anybody shooting like this.
This is what makes them really dangerous, is everybody's capable of making threes. They all haven't done it at the same time this year. Well, this may be that game.
9 of 12 in the first half.
And Coupette hasn't even made one yet. He's shot one, I think. Did he?
Coupette? No, he made he made one.
Oh, he did make one. He's 1 for 1. And Illinois State just turned it over, so Southern can also get the last shot at a bucket with 20 seconds left. No, Lance, you can't shoot it from there.
How about Jones from the nose of the Saluki again? Just hold it there until the clock winds down. All right, 5 to go here. Coupette with a 3, and he got that one. 10 threes.
Thus far, playing a complete basketball game, both ends of the floor. I don't know what Brian. He couldn't have been mad about anything in the locker room.
Which Brian?
The Mullins. The other Brian on the other side had a lot to be anxious about.
Yeah, Brian Jones probably didn't have a good halftime. This is a foul down on the ground on SIU.
Yeah, Dalton, again, little on big, had his knee on the thigh of Schmidt trying to guard him.
And so Reeves had the 4 first half points, gets checked by his cousin Lance Jones here. Got past him, and another SIU foul, this one on Mula on the help.
First foul on JD. Filowich quickly going to check into the ball game for SIU. Reeves had just a tiny seam there and just got him on the arm with his left arm.
Look, I know we're 18 seconds into the half, but with how positive of a first half that was for SIU, you do wonder, do you quote unquote keep your chip, as they say in their program?
I mean, I would hope you would. I think the Bradley game was a big lesson, as Southern was way out 25 points ahead in that game in the second half, and that game went down to the wire. So I think Southern needs to keep their foot on the gas in this game.
SIU just does not play in blowout games, but they got a chance to stick it on the gas tonight, get their 4th consecutive win. Reeves starts the second half with a couple of free throws, up to 6 points now.
And now they're calling everything.
Yeah.
See, already 3 quick fouls. One of them was an obvious foul. The little knee on the thigh was not a foul in the first half, because we had bigs on littles who were doing a lot worse than a knee in the thigh.
Did you tell me that at halftime, that would happen?
No, I didn't. I said it does happen.
That was very much a I told you so comment from
No, not at all. Just the inconsistency of the consistency is just tough for the players to adjust to.
And so inside 10 to shoot after the whistle, which was the 3rd foul on Fleming. And now 3 to shoot. Jones out there again. Very comfortable from there, and why not? A 3rd time for the logo. Skipping his way back for good reason. And Reeves right back to the basket and got hemmed under the rim. Now SIU galloping ahead with Coupette. and it flings out of bounds off him.
Ben lost it. I think he was going to try to go to his left hand and lay it off the glass, and just lost control on the step before he went out of bounds. So turnover on Southern. Just the 4th turnover of the game for the Salukis.
Well, that would be probably the biggest criticism that you'd make of Illinois State's offense is their turnovers this year. They're last in the Valley, giving it up 14 times a game, coming off a 20 turnover game against Loyola. There's a little baseline pop for Lewis, and that's where they had success early, was with Lewis.
Yep, and they were attacking Southern's press, so you're giving something up when you're pressing. You're going, once you get by it, it's 4-on-3, and they found the seam on that baseline.
Well, another quick shot from Jones, and this is looking like normal all over again.
And he hasn't even driven yet. He's just shooting from outside.
And Jones, yeah, with 12 points, all on 3-pointers. And the drive and kick strong is a potent 3-point shooter.
Imagine the possibilities.
Well, while you were gone, you've missed very little. 25 seconds milked in the shot clock for SIU, and whoa, how did that go in? Ben Coupet somehow got it up to the glass.
Almost the same drive as he had before, but this time was able to at least get something on the ball and just kind of flung it up there and off the glass and in.
Telling of the night it's been for SIU so far.
After the timeout, Southern has gone small. They've taken Filowich out and just gone small, which means that Schmidt can have a field day, but he misses.
Small field. SIU shooting 62% right now. And they are 80% from 3. Jones makes the extra. Coupet still reining them in.
16 for Ben. 3 for 3 from long distance.
And a 3 answered the other way for Antonio Reeves. Redbirds need a lot more of that.
Redbirds have called off the pressure as well.
Quickly answered our question at break.
Yep.
Will the Redbirds press the rest of the game?
And we thought that maybe they saw the Bradley tape, which I'm sure they have, and saw that second half we turned it over, or Southern turned it over a bunch against pressure.
Well, Verplanken loves that little 10-footer in the lane, but left it short. Goes to that shot a lot when he gets a smaller guard on him. Let the Redbirds survive it. Here's Strong trying to break 3. And Damas got out on him. Switched on to Banks, and nice tight pass, and Schmidt's underneath.
That was one of the prettiest passes you're going to see, because Marcus did not give him a lot of room to get it over him and into Schmidt's hands, and all Schmidt had to do was catch it and lay it up.
And Josiah Strong also relied on for defense too. Talked a lot about being okay with getting 8-9 points, passing like he just did. The mask hard attack. How disappointing was that from Missouri State Sunday? Had a chance to beat Northern Iowa on the road and potentially win championship, and
had nothing in the game. Just played horribly.
Yeah, Isaiah Mosley was a no-show too.
Yeah, just from the get-go, just played horribly in the game. And Northern Iowa was on one of those runs where everything they did worked and they got going, and AJ Green got going, and when AJ was doing Lance Jones stuffs with threes from anywhere on the floor.
Loyola clobbered UNI in Rogers Park just recently. Who do you like on Saturday in Cedar Falls?
I still think Loyola's the better team, but it's tough to win as well as Northern Iowa's playing at home.
Well, a little new look here for Illinois State, going with Alston Andrews, and he's got his first basket of the night in short time. So
he's got some size. He's 6'9", so he's a good match inside. And right now, Brian Jones is looking for any combination that's going to work offensively and defensively, and probably just play hard.
Here's Jones, finally takes a 2, and it won't go. And back out to the Redbirds. Yeah, Alston Andrews, he's played more the last few games. Only played in 5 Valley games total. That was just his second field goal for the Redbirds in conference games. Illinois State was so short-handed in the post last year. Remember, Keith Fisher had opted out.
Yep.
Cy Chapman didn't play either and came in with 5 or 6 bigs this year. It's an offensive foul. But the Redbirds almost had too many bigs to begin the year, and then one really good one at the top. And then Chapman got hurt, and now it's been mix and match for Brian Jones, Dan Muller before, and trying to figure out the right bigs to use.
There's Brian Jones right there. Again, after the first half, looking for guys who are going to play hard the final 14 plus of this second half and try to make it a basketball game.
Verplanken's got the bigger Lewis on him, so gives it up. And a whistle off the ball, and the shot won't count. There's a foul on SIU on J.D. Mula.
Little illegal screen.
And the second one on Mula. Antonio Reeves with 9 points, so he surpassed that 8-point total, his season low against SIU the first time. Now it's been the others going to work, and wouldn't stick that time for Fleming, and Mula reels it in. Well, here's the tempo. Jones drawing everybody. Coupet. Ooh, one more time, but air ball. J.D. Mula tears it away again. Lance Jones. Oh. No! Oh! Ben Coupet! Unbelievable!
That's a Sports Center top 10. Wow.
Oh, man. The guys on the bench are saying he dunked on his head, and they're right.
And he just, yep.
Yeah, whatever.
18 for Ben. An emphatic slam dunk.
Oh, and Coupet outside this time. No. Keep hanging on the rim.
Wow. I may watch that 6 or 8 times tonight.
That was a ferocious roar from you, too. That was a good stamina, sustained. And so the Redbirds going back to work down into the post, and Coupet scrapes out of there. Out to Freeman, and a late shot clock 3 goes in for Mark Freeman. Well, Freeman's a guy that can score for Illinois State. He's been set down by an ankle injury. Missed a couple of weeks with that and has been coming off the bench since. But when he was at Tennessee State, he was their top scorer.
He had 34 against Bucknell earlier this year, so he can fill it up without question.
36% three-point shooter. Coupet looked like he was driving to dunk again.
Yeah, I think he's always looking to dunk it with his athletic ability. And there was a lane there, and it closed pretty quickly, but he did draw the foul.
I'd say that Ben Coupet probably has the best 2 dunks for SIU in the season. That one, the last one, was definitely the best, but
the backdoor.
Who was that? Was that Maryville?
Oh, earlier this year,
yeah,
yes.
Earlier this year, yeah.
Yes.
Remember he had one going into halftime?
Yes. Might have been Maryville.
I'll say that was, there's not a lot I remember about the Maryville game, but.
No. And he's really good on backdoor cuts when he's wide open. He reminds me of Marcus Timmons, and folks who followed the Salukis for a long time know how Marcus could dunk the basketball just effortlessly, like same way that Ben can do it, and with style.
It's too bad the Salukis don't get 2 years of them.
Oh, I know.
But the good news for SIU with Coupet, when he was at Little Rock, he closed the season really well there, and he's doing it again.
Yep.
Shooting the ball really well. Last couple of games, he's a 54% three-point shooter, and that's going up tonight with 20 more points. A couple more triples, too. Here's Reeves hanging and hitting right in the face of D'Amico.
Reeves with 11.
Of course, he's got something to play for late in the season. Schmidt comes over to Matt. But that's just because the game that Loyola's playing right now isn't completed yet.
Right, exactly. And Southern playing Drake right now. And they're going to play, again, Drake Saturday night on the road. So this happens a lot where the last team you play is the team you play in the tournament. Not always a great thing, but you're very familiar with them, obviously.
We've talked about the top 5 in the league throughout and how there's been separation. Before Bradley got into the race and were struggling earlier, it was really the top 4 and how they had separated. Josiah Strong's going to the free throw line. Really, it was the top 4 of UNI, Drake, Missouri State, and Loyola that got all the attention. SIU's just kind of hanging out there in the middle, trying to figure out how they were going to get more offense. But here they are. If they win on Saturday night, 5 in a row going into Arch Madness, and I mean, you win 3 in 3 games, you're a year ahead of schedule of what people expected.
Yeah, exactly. And Southern's biggest issue this year was couldn't string together wins. It was difficult to win 3 in a row in the league, and now that they have, and they're on their way 11.5 minutes from their 4th win in a row. And then if you get one on the road, if you get Drake on a downtime or whatever the case may be, and you go in with a 5-game winning streak, anything can happen. And this team is playing so much better than it was a month ago.
I'd say the morale, at least I know you talk to a different group of people than I do, but at least the morale around the fans that I had talked to when the Loyola loss happened, it was not a happy group of Saluki fans.
No, they were wondering.
Fast.
They were wondering if the team was ever going to score.
Right.
But you have to consider the opposition. Even though you play them pretty much back to back, they're that good. Loyola is, I mean, Southern's a good defensive team. Loyola is a great defensive team and shows it night in and night out, basically in any game they play.
We'll say that with the angst of the fan base, thinking that, you know, there had to be a solution fast with the offense. Brian Mullins never wavered on saying, hey, look, these guys can shoot, they're going to score, and man, they have tonight. Tyler Filowich pushes him past 70 and a chance at the line to extend it more.
And whether the fans believed it or not, the players believed it, because after a couple wins in a row, to a man, they said, it's working. We can see it working. We're improving every day in practice. And again, it's not monumental leaps and bounds improving, but it's incremental leaps or incremental improvements as they're going along. And Brian has said from day one, we want to be playing our best basketball when we head to the Valley tournament. And I mean, right now, I think the fans would say, yes, they are.
And with that optimism, it is true that 3 of the 4 wins, as far as they hang on tonight, as Mark Freeman hits a 3, but if they hang on tonight, yes, 3 of the 4 wins on this winning streak would be against teams that are playing in the opening round in the bottom of the league. But if you beat Drake, that's 2 of the wins on the win streak that would be against the top 5.
Correct. And 2 of the wins would be on the road, Indiana State and Drake. The rest were home wins. But nevertheless, still, you're winning games.
Yeah. The Bradley one is the one that would give you a lot of optimism if you're SIU. And Tyler Filowich now asserting himself a couple possessions in a row.
And in the game at Illinois State in the first half, he had opportunities to be a lot more aggressive. They came out in the second half in the game in Bloomington, and here tonight from the get-go, he's been aggressive offensively.
Mark Freeman more aggressive in the second half too. He's got 8 points, a couple of 3s to go with him. Kyler Filowich, outside of Jones and Nebraska, you talk about points per minute, points per 40 minutes. He's right behind those 2.
Yes, and he gets touches, and he usually gets touches because he's got good guys getting him the ball, and he's able to back his guy down and get decent looking shots.
There's Dalton Banks tucking it in, and Reeves with the backside rebound.
Freeman will back it out. They're setting up the offense on the play. Coach Jones is calling plays now.
Well, Jones at one point was kind of like the offensive coordinator for Illinois State. Here's Freeman, and he's looking nice in the second half. 10 points now for Freeman. Mark Freeman came in his last 6 games, was shooting under 30%. He was really struggling to shoot it, but tonight on an uptick, but his Redbirds are down big as SIU takes a 30-second with interest in Oklahoma because Porter Moser is there. They're on the outside looking in right now. SIU fans with Kansas State, of course, monitoring Bruce Weber.
And Chris Lowry.
Chris Lowry.
Yep.
two former Saluki head coaches. Big 12's tough, man.
It is, and Kansas State probably missed an opportunity last night. Even though they were at Kansas, they got blown out, and that's not a good look late in the season. Even though you're playing at Kansas, to get blown out.
It's all Freeman right now for Illinois State.
Yep, he had D'Amico guarding him, and that's a plus for Freeman. With his quickness, he can get by D'Amico and get to the rim as he did there. Freeman's an 86% free throw shooter on the year. Also, you don't want to foul him.
He's a guy that was a reactionary acquisition. You say acquisition because it's like obviously free agency now with the transfer portal, but acquisition essentially for Illinois State because DJ Horn transferred out, went to Arizona State, and they brought Freeman in, provided a similar role. Got off to a great start. You mentioned that 34-point game against Bucknell in non-conference.
He has struggled in the last 6 games, though, just shooting 28%. So his shooting percentage has really fallen off. And then tonight came in second half and has played very, very well. Looking to get the hot hand back.
He got hurt against Wisconsin, a game that Illinois State almost won in December. And there's the Wisconsin native Marcus Damask rolling one down.
Gives him 12 on the game. Been a quiet 12 for Damask.
Yeah, it has 8 assists, though.
Yes.
Loud 8 assists. And Reeves with a flash. So Antonio Reeves has 13 on the game now, but his team down 20.
And I don't think the Saluki fans mind the fact that Illinois State is scoring a lot more, because Southern is continuing to score and still playing basketball and not walking it up and working the shot clock down to 0 and not getting a great shot.
That's what they did against Bradley.
Yes, way too much.
And that allowed Bradley back into the game.
It absolutely did. They got momentum and got some surface. And I think that the precipitation was supposed to stop for about an hour and a half or so and then pick up maybe later tonight when it starts getting really cold again. So, but shouldn't be too bad on the way home.
And the dog pound has been helped out by Saluki Swim and Dive. And good to see them travel, too. Went to the Illinois State game and the Indiana State game on the road. See him at Arch Madness, too. There's Freeman, who's had a good second half for Illinois State, giving it up. And Josiah Strong gets the defense from Damask. And a bunch of help comes. 6 to shoot here. Freeman gives up. Strong with the layup. Ball moving around there for the Redbirds.
When you have those two quick guards who can both be point guards and handle the ball well, both have a lot of assists and are better assist turnover ratios are good from both of them, they can cause some trouble.
Here's Coupette left wide open and been better tonight when he's been contested.
Yeah. It's almost too relaxed on that one.
Here's Strong, deep 3. Yep. Josiah Strong. So 5 in a row for Illinois State out of the timeout. And it's a 15-point game. And as you said, SIU's continue to play, continue to run offense. And not totally out of it yet in a 15-point game.
No. Here comes double teams.
Oh, Jones lost it. And Brian Jones was calling for the Redbirds to get it back. But
yeah, Reeves didn't argue at all, so he knew it went off of him. Dalton Banks going to come right back in to the point. If Illinois State's going to press, they want Dalton in the game. It's another ball handler in there that they're comfortable with.
And Banks got out of the trap in the corner. And Damask is deadly in toward that restricted area. Stretches it to 17 again.
Illinois State has not done a good job all night of keeping Southern out of the paint.
Let's get a paint points check. Yeah, 26 in the paint tonight for SIU.
Yeah.
Illinois State's actually leading inside the paint. But yeah, SIU 26 down there tonight. A turnover for Jones. And Freeman streaking up ahead, one-on-one. And Banks was going to give it to him and still couldn't hit it.
And that was really smart by Dalton because he expected the contact, didn't get it, and altered his shot thinking he was going to get the contact. And then Reeves had the rebound, had nowhere to go with it, stepped on the end line. So it's going to be Southern's ball, and here comes the play again. Watch Freeman anticipating the bump, didn't get it, and stepped out of bounds. Reeves.
So full court pressure for Illinois State. Banks handling it pretty easily with a guy that can pick your pocket a bit. Mark Freeman right on him. And Banks staying strong, milking some clock as we get to 5 minutes left. Hard drive for the
and goaltending. I can't believe Jai touched that ball. It was not going to go in.
Oh, it was going to be way short.
But he didn't give it a chance.
Wonder if he thought foul was going to be on the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, actually, it might have hit the rim, but I don't think it was going to go over the rim. But Damask all of a sudden has 16 with an opportunity for 17.
And SIU will have to wait to get to 80 points. And inside 5 to go. 80 would match the season high for the Salukis all the way back in December as Reeves draws the bottom of the net. Lewis down there scrapping. SIU scored 80 against SEMO in a runaway 25-point win in mid-December.
It's only the second field goal of the second half for Lewis.
And SIU turns it over.
I don't know where Dalton was going with that pass. I know it was intended for Trent, obviously, but really led him way too much. And Illinois State just turns it right back over.
And Trent Brown takes it away.
Yep.
So already at a valley high for SIU. 77 was their high against Valpo earlier. And Steven Verplanken gets him over 80. And a new season high in points for the Salukis. Well, this is the big shooting night that SIU is waiting for Verplanken as Reeves gets fouled and one. Go all the way back to that Missouri State game in early January. The last explosive. Him, Lewis, and Freeman all in double figures for Illinois State. SIU led by the 20 of Ben Coupette. Next closest, Marcus Damask, 16. Two others in doubles, Verplanken and Jones. Both have 12.
And Reeves has done it well tonight. He's 6 of 10. Hasn't really forced anything at all. Let the game come to him. Tried to make plays when he had them, but didn't go out of his way to force things.
He never really does.
No, he's such a good player.
Here's Jones spinning. Nope. And Lewis the rebound. Reeves with how much he's used, just 2 turnovers per game. Pretty incredible. Jones has the thefts.
Turnover number 13 now for ISU.
And Jones has a chance to close the season leading the league in steals. He'd be the first to do it since
BMO.
There you go. Ben Coupette fouled by Fleming.
And they were a half count away on that pass, or he could have caught it going up towards the rim for another dunk. But Marcus was just a hair late with the pass. Banks coming back in for Lance Jones. Here's the pass. And Ben's already making his move. And maybe had he not dribbled, he could have done it as well. It was a good pass from Marcus.
Take me inside the mind of Kyle Brennan real quick. He's the Illinois State athletic director. He's got his first big decision upcoming. And hiring a coach, which direction would you go?
They went with the former player, MVP, took us to the NCAA tournament, and that worked for a while, and then it didn't work for a while. And then you get the opinion that, well, you need to get somebody who's in the Power 5 conferences, who's a longtime assistant, or maybe not even a longtime assistant, who's ready to run a program. So the cost factor comes in now as well, because those guys want long-term contracts. They want control, how much at this stage now after the pandemic, money is tight everywhere. I think it's a really tough time to be hiring a coach.
I mean, the Tom Crean rumor of him maybe being available if he leaves Georgia, but that's a guy you're talking about that's going to want money. Steve Prohm.
Or will he now? He's made his money.
Right. I was thinking Steve Prohm's the same way.
Yeah, same way.
He was at Murray before, then went to Iowa State. He isn't working this year. He'd obviously have a pretty good feel on what Murray would be doing when they join the league next year. Or do you look for the up-and-comer that's an assistant?
Yeah, and how much desire is still there for a coach who's been doing a long time, and gosh, do I want to rebuild, and do I feel it's a rebuilding project, and transfer portal, who's going to stay, who's going to go. It's so difficult now with the transfer portal. I mean, it's easy to reload and get players, but we know in the Valley it's teams that have been together, the older teams that are in the top 4 in the conference right now.
Yeah. I think the priority will be get a coach in as soon as you can, as close to the end of the season as you can, and make that first conversation with Antonio Reeves to keep him here.
Yes. Yeah. Lance doing what Lance does, about a 25-footer.
Yep, Jones with 5 threes tonight. Here's Reeves back on the attack, and that slides off down to Ben Coupette. Oh, and Coupette turns it over.
Just got a little careless after the dribble. Yeah, Marcus Belcher right there in the gray with the beard. Former Saluki, point guard on the Sweet 16 team in 2000 through 2002. He's been at 3 different teams in the Valley. There's his Sweet 16 banner, and Bruce Weber told Marcus Belcher during the year that if we accomplish what we want to accomplish, it's because of you. You may not get all the accolades that the other guys are getting, but you are the glue as our point guard that is holding this together.
Great point. I want to talk about it more, but this is a great moment here. Getting Will Keller, Chris Cross into the game. It's Will Keller's senior night. A walk-on from Marion, played at John A. Logan College down the road here before. And into the game for the final 140.
And played his high school at Agape Christian, not even a basketball school, so to speak. I mean, they play, but he didn't play at Marion High School. But he's from Marion and went to Logan and then walked on here and he's in engineering, and he's going to do amazing things with his degree. Things that you and I can't even talk about.
Oh, here he is. See if he gets a shot up.
They want to get him a shot. We know Chris Cross will shoot it anywhere.
Oh, here he is. He knows it might be Will Keller time.
There it is.
Here's Keller, catch and shoot.
Oh.
Ooh, air ball.
Yikes.
Keller was all smiles before the game. He had a little bounce to him. He's a very positive guy and great to talk to in the few conversations we've had, but he had a little extra bounce and smile tonight, knowing he might get in, I'm assuming. McChesney with the miss, and that rolls down. We'll go down the other way to try to get DeVonzo or Keller. One more shot.
Will's getting into his corner.
Will's getting into his corner. True, you're right. That's a spot.
DeVonzo's, look, they will not let them cross it. Get him on the post.
All right, here he is in that corner. There he goes. Will Keller. No. DeVonzo
on the feed.
Keller.
There it is. He is all smiles now, and he got the assist from the other senior, DeVonzo.
Maybe his final basket as a Saluki gets SIU to 90 on Will Keller's senior night.
Nicely done.
And the chance of SIU raining down with the Salukis leading by 21 after Will Keller's basket. And McChesney at the horn. Nope. And SIU has won 4 in a row.